seems to me that the standardisation that they're trying to implement here is linked with not valuing teachers and thinking that, oh, actually they need help to know how to teach well, and these standards will show them what to do, rather than recognising that actually teachers are already very skilled and do understand what they're doing, and it sort of seems to be quite linked, that idea about standardisation and having national standards together with valuing what teachers.
One way to see the standardisation movement is to, if you really want to be like a, what is the word in English?
Conspiracy
yeah, exactly. So if you want to theorize a little bit using this conspiracy thinking, you could say that maybe there's a plan to make teaching in a school so simple that basically anybody can do it. And to do that, first you need to standardize things so that you have a kind of a procedure. Then you have a testing system that is checking that what's happening will be achieved, and then you have just the procedures there. But these procedures are easy when you have standards and all these things. That at least this seems to be the case in some parts of the world where the online learning is coming to replace teachers, and then you have the standards and these things that that the end vision could be a kind of school system where you don't really need a teacher anymore, because all of these things are so made so simple and kind of a step-by-step things that basically anybody can hire somebody from the street to do these things and just make sure that things happen. And how I see this, for example, this having a centrally prescribed standards that are requiring teachers and schools to do something, is concretely take away a kind of an essential element of teachers' work, as you know, is the plan. To work together with other teachers and think that how should we teach this, or what should we teach? It's the first question, and how should we do this thing?
And the more, who are we teaching?
And the more you take these things away, the less you have this type of conversation in schools that is kind of at the core of the profession. It's almost like having a medical doctor who has that you have a procedure if you go to the open heart surgery, that you don't need anybody, just follow. First you do this, then you do that, then you cut this one, and then you do these things, and so you don't need to talk to anybody, because it's a kind of a standardized what you do. But if you look at the lawyers or doctors, how do they work? They always work like this. If they have a case, that we have a case here, we talk about it and see what is it all about, what is this patient needs, what is the thing, what do we know about this thing, and then we put our knowledge and things together and decide together here, and then I'll take this thing and I'll go and do my job.
Standardization is a very common idea everywhere, and there are countries that are for the first time introducing the national standards for education, meaning that teachers and schools are required to teach their children towards the same and similar standards that will be then used as a benchmark. Rather than standardization, we have designed our system based on individualization or customization of educational practice. For example, all the schools they have their customized curricula. We don't have a national standards or national curriculum that everybody would do. We don't have standardized testing in Finland that would require everybody to perform according to the certain standard. We have individualized learning plans for about 1/3 of our students in a compulsory school, because they are all different. So this is what the individualization means. It has nothing to do with the online learning or computers or anything like this. It's more personalization and customization than anything else. So Finnish students also, particularly in primary elementary school, they do fairly little homework. So homework is not used as a kind of a means for enhancing learning. We emphasize play. We think that play is very important. And those of you who have read Gladwell's Outliers have heard about the 10,000-hour rule. Do you? It's a very simple thing. It says that if you want to be good in anything, you have to practice something at least 10,000 hours, whether it's teaching or music or sport or anything like this. Yeah? And this applies also to children's play. If you want to be good in play, you have to practice play 10,000 hours. Yeah? And to be good in play means that you understand the power of your mind, your imagination, and you can use it with other people to create new ideas. Okay? So my argument is that those countries who insist that children start schooling early on, like 5, 4 or 5, sometimes 3, they terminate this practice of play, and it becomes more complicated than in the systems like in Finland, where many parents think that it's a good idea to keep kids away from school as late as possible.
We are now celebrating the 40th anniversary of this current school structure that hasn't really changed too much, that the basic idea is still the same, that we have an inclusive school system where all the children will go to similar schools. Practically we don't allow private schools or any alternative arrangements. No streaming, no tracking. Everybody's going to the same school. One of the key ideas in designing this school system was that all the schools have to be able to welcome very different types of kids. And that time, in 1972, we didn't have any immigrants in none of our schools. There were very few people who were living in Finland or moved to Finland from other countries. And the idea was that all our schools have to be able to cope with and help all types of learners. So because the culture is based on this very individualized approach, which is in the law. Law says that education has to be arranged according to the individual needs. We have always kind of assumed that the purpose of education is primarily individual development and try to not only educate everybody to the same standard, and that's why whenever people are talking about standardization and national standards, it gives me a kind of an idea that somebody assumes that we have to educate everybody to be the same, which is a kind of follows from the definition that if you standardize, this is what you do. And I think in Finland we have always tried to deliberately diversify, and through individualization or personalisation, try to make sure that everybody can grow whatever they want to be. And the role of the school is to support this development and help people to, move further on that road that they have chosen. When I look around this room, I see that there's a lot of play and joy and creativity going on. And this, I think, is what many Finnish parents want for their children. That they want them to, play and be happy.